Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood-Splattered Vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Chocula.
And today we're going to talk about Stranger Things, Season
4, Volume 1.
Yes, that's it. It got mixed up in my head at the last minute.
Yeah, because unlike a lot of other seasons of Stranger Things, this one's dropping in 2 parts.
Yeah.
The part that's already dropped and one later in July.
But it's being dropped in a weird way. 7 episodes at once is Volume 1, and then 2 episodes are Volume 2, so...
But those 2 episodes are like 2 hours long, apparently.
Yeah, they're each, together, they're like 4 hours, so... Yeah.
Don't know why they did that, but whatever.
It is what it is. I got nothing. So yeah, Stranger Things, this is picks up right where the last season left off. Our good friends over at Hawkins have some of which have moved over to California, some of which are now in high school, and some of which are trapped in Russia. yeah. So like that's probably the first big. That's not much of a spoiler because they let you know that really early on. No. Which is of course Hopper makes it. Yeah. He's trapped in Russia. It was the teaser at the end of the last season. So unless you missed that teaser or missed the trailer for this, then whatever. Yeah. And they actually they explain how he gets from America to Russia. And some more Stranger Things have started to erupt around town as a Freddy Krueger-like monster has started to appear, and not quite in people's dreams. It's more like he forces them to hallucinate and they enter a dreamlike state, but he's like inducing it into them. Yeah. And he's killing teenagers in gruesome ways. And it's up to, the Hawkins crew to figure out why he's doing this and how to stop him. Yeah. This season of Stranger Things really leans into the whole D&D metaphor that the kids use to understand what's going on. It's probably the most D&D since the first one. Yeah. It is the most overall. Because, like, if you saw the trailers, you know that they call the bad guy Vecna. Yeah. And if you are a fan of D&D, you know who Vecna is. He is the evil lich. He is the big bad guy, one of the big bad guys of original Dungeons & Dragons. And... Jesus, like they made this guy like a combination of Freddy Krueger and Pinhead. Yeah. And 100%. He is it's really interesting because you're like, holy shit, they actually have like a bad guy. Yeah, they do. Usually it's like the situation is the bad guy. Well, the thing is that they've had a bad guy for this entire time. He's even a bad guy in this season because they intimate that this guy is working for the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer. But the Mind Flayer is like an evil god. He's like an alien. Yeah, the Mind Flayer is treated like another worldly creature. Like sometimes it'll talk to you, but for the most part, you can't comprehend what it's thinking, you know? But this is actually like a humanoid, Yeah. This is an evil wizard. Yeah. And Jesus Christ, they spend the entire first volume building this guy up. Oh God. And you're like, oh my God. So at the point where he just starts showing up, you're just like, oh shit. And you have no idea who's going to survive. Yep. And we're not even at the climax yet. If the first season was like primarily Firestarter crossed with the Goonies and crossed with E.T. And a little bit of Alien, and the second season was Aliens and Ghostbusters and a couple other things, and the third season was very much The Thing and Red Dawn, and Red Dawn and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Also, Day of the Dead. Oh, good point. Because it's in them all. That's right. Yes. A little bit of Day of the Dead. In season 3. This season is very much leaning into Nightmare on Elm Street primarily. Yes. There are other things that it's leaning into. Like much like season 2, there's a little bit more of the X-Men coming back in. Yes. Season 2 had a lot of X-Men in it, especially with 11's storyline. And the 11 part of this season storyline very much leans into stuff that was introduced in season 2. Yep. So all those plot threads that everyone's like, oh, this shit's pointless in season 2. Guess what? It's important now. Yeah. Eat it. Yeah. I've always been bitter about that because I had no problem with season 2. Oh, no, I didn't either. I enjoyed that. Like the only problem I had with season 2 is I thought that it seemed a shame that we
drop the plot line of 8.
Yes, I'm still sad about that. I wonder if that's because everyone complained about it, or if they just didn't know where to take it,
or if it's going to pay off in the second half of this, in season 5.
It might,
because we do know that there's going to be a season 5.
Yes. It has been greenlit for a final season, so after Volume 2 of Season 4 drops, we'll probably be hearing about them filming it.
Yep.
They might even already be filming it. Who knows?
Yeah, we have no idea. But, man, really good. This one really maximizes the ensemble cast.
Oh, yeah.
And it maximizes the 4 interweaving plot lines.
Oh, yeah. This season is Stranger Things firing on all cylinders. Everything that works about the show is at 11. Like my previous favorite season was season 3. And what's interesting about that is that what I love about season 3, I also kind of liked how this season's kind of the opposite of that. Like, season 3 was very tight. It was very quick. It was like a lean, mean monster movie, right?
Yeah.
This one isn't lean or mean. This one is a lot more expansive.
Yes.
We have characters in multiple locations. The threat they're dealing with seems even grander than what they're dealing with last time.
And it involves way more people.
Yeah.
One of the problems I had, the only real problem I had with the character of Max is that for season 2 and 3, she didn't feel like a real member of the cast because her plot line was kind of, it's off to the side here. Season 4, she's a major part of the plot.
She's been one of my favorite parts of this season.
Yes,
to be completely honest. And I wouldn't say she was in the previous seasons, but she was in this.
Yeah, in this one, and they even introduced characters in this season that they develop extremely well. I was really surprised. So there's a character that they have called Eddie.
Oh, Eddie's great.
Eddie, their new dungeon master.
The fucking the dungeon master metalhead who's obviously suffering from severe ADHD.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
Yeah, no, that character is great, and they do a great job of not being sure where they're going to take him.
Yeah,
you are not sure where he's going to go, and because one of the major plot points is the satanic panic of the 80s and the demonization of Dungeons and Dragons.
That's the other thing they brought into this. All those satanic panic horror movies from the 80s, they pull from that. They pull from those movies, like Black Roses and things like that. They pull a little bit from those.
Yeah, and they also pull a bit of some of the actual shit that happened in the era.
100%.
And that's when it gets rough.
Absolutely.
That's when I'm like, oh God, I'm having flashbacks.
One of the reasons why if this season continues to be as good as it has been in these first 7 episodes with the last 2, why this might end up becoming my new favorite season is every episode of this is twice as long, or at least 1.5 episodes longer than past season episodes. Instead of being 45 to 50 minutes, each episode of this season,
an hour and a half.
Is an hour and 10 minutes to an hour and a half each. And the thing that surprised the shit out of me is I don't feel like any second of that is wasted.
No, not all. There's not a slow moment.
We sat here and we binged the season over a couple days, and every time we turn on an episode, we'll be like, oh God, this episode's going to be an hour and a half long. And we watched the episode, and then the episode would finish, and we'd be like, oh, it's already done. We were that, it's that fucking engrossing. So despite the fact that every episode is twice as long, so this season overall is twice as long as the previous seasons.
Yeah.
They could have easily had made this a 20 episode season if they wanted to. It feels it's like the most engrossing the show has ever been.
Well, it's the thing that I think is really cool is you can tell that unlike a lot of other shows, the way they write Stranger Things is what's an episode? An episode's a chapter.
Yes.
The chapter's done when it's done.
Absolutely. It is a chapter. And they also treat each season like it's a long movie.
Yeah.
And I know some people complain about that, but I love that.
Oh, no, it's great. That's great.
Love
what are you
that.
talking about?
I love that Stranger Things always feels like a long movie split up into chapters as opposed to just a TV show.
Yes.
It gives it this special feeling.
Well, it's the promise of the 80s, made for television miniseries, that they never delivered on.
Oh yeah, this feels like what every Stephen King miniseries was trying to be.
Yes, yeah.
It delivers on all of that. This one, much like season 1, I feel like season 1 and this season share a DNA in that they're both obviously really inspired by It,
yeah,
big time. You know?
Oh yeah. There's no, they don't hide it. Oh man, one of the weirdest fucking influences of this season that just made me go, was the house with the clock in its walls.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, what? We're going to reference the house with the clock in its walls?
I don't even know if that's an intentional reference or if it's a happy accident, but it's definitely there.
Yeah, it's definitely there, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What I also love about Stranger Things is much like every season of Stranger Things, even though it is a collection of it wears its influences on its sleeve.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a Tarantino movie. They still feel like their own entities.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like we're doing this very intentionally.
Yep.
The style, we're copying a style. We're doing an homage to a style.
Absolutely.
And wow. They also this is the one where they start bringing in like influences from like music videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
especially since they have just a straight up metalhead being part of the main cast. So
yeah,
those 80s music videos are starting to like play into things.
Yeah.
Like, there's some times when they're in the fucking what do you call it? The Upside Down, but not the Upside Down as so much as Lord Vecna's Mindscape of the Upside Down, because there's like 2 different Upside Downs in this.
Yeah, yeah. Like
they never really say that, but they show it because one's blue, one's red.
Yeah.
Where it kind of feels like a first off, it feels like a heavy metal album cover.
Yes.
But it also like kind of feels like a Meatloaf music video.
Yeah. Oh, damn straight it does.
Especially whenever they're in that house.
Yeah. Know? And the oh god, the big music number. Okay, one of the things that comes in this as a major motif is the Kate Bush song "Running Up That Hill." So if for some reason you were wondering why everyone was talking about Kate Bush, this is why.
Yeah.
And there is a sequence that is very obviously a Kate Bush music video.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that was what we were trying to do while it was happening. Like we just play the whole song while this fucking sequence plays.
Absolutely, and it is my favorite sequence in the whole season.
God, no, that I'm like
maybe even the whole show
one for the highlight reel.
Maybe even for the whole show, but definitely for the whole season. Like my favorite sequence. It like that sequence. It like when we get to the spoilers, we'll talk more about what specifically happens. But that sequence had me so on the edge, and I didn't know if certain characters were going to make it.
Yeah, you had no idea what was going to happen. You're like, oh god, and it could go either way.
It also was emotionally resonating. Like that scene, like had me tearing up a little bit because of the emotional resonance of what was happening.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, they did it perfectly. You know,
it is Stranger Things firing on all cylinders. I know some people have criticized this season and feel like it's over long. Like it is longer than other seasons. I have not felt the length. I thought like the only time you feel the length is when you stop watching a couple episodes and you realize it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you gotta watch the rest tomorrow. Like that's the only time, you know. I like where all the characters are at. I do feel like and this isn't really their fault because I think at this point, some of the characters they've kind of taken to where they can go. Like Jonathan, I feel like there's not really too much.
There's not much more
to do with him.
at the moment. You know? Yeah.
But like, because there is so many characters, like some characters don't get as much of a storyline as others.
Yeah.
That being said, it's not really a problem because characters that got like really big storylines last season, it's okay if they don't get like a really big one this season.
Yeah.
Because other characters that didn't get big ones last season are getting ones this season.
Yeah. Jonathan already had like in season 2, he had his big one.
Exactly.
And in this one, he's a little more backseat.
Yep.
Robin is much more in the force. She officially joins the group essentially. Yeah. And at one point, they start to realize that the group is now mainly comprised of older teenagers. And they're just sort of like, why are we letting the 14-year-olds fucking like run into like the caves? Like, no, you stay here.
I'm also going to say this. I've seen many people complain about this. I've never had a problem with the humor of the show.
Oh, God, no.
I've always thought the humor was great. It always adds a nice levity in between all the horror. Like, I never had a problem with being horrified at one of the Lord Vecna kills and then like cutting to a scene that's a little bit more humorous afterwards. I always felt like that was kind of needed. Like,
well, yeah. That's how like.
Because this show's supposed to be dark and heavy, but it's also supposed to be fun.
Yeah, you know? Dude, I think people forget that like fucking Stephen King did that all the time.
Oh yeah, Stephen King did that. So did fucking Spielberg.
Yeah,
who's the other big inspiration.
All the time,
you know, like the humor in this is very much like Spielberg movies. You know,
yeah,
his blockbuster movies, to be more clear, like.
Yeah. Plus, there's that old like horror movie trope where it's like someone screams and then we pull out, it's somebody else screaming.
And the other thing is, and I don't think enough people has picked it up on, is that at a certain point they stopped doing the Goonies started doing a cross between Fast Times at Ridgemont High and the other John Hughes style teen comedies.
Yeah,
and so
every time they do a season, like the 80s influences are kind of switched out a bit. Yeah.
Because like now the kids are older and so they're dealing with more teenage problems.
Yeah.
Like we're leaning more into the John Hughes now, you know? Like whereas before we were more Goonies, you know?
Yeah, whereas the thing it keeps that it doesn't like stray from is the Stephen King influence.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's consistent.
King and Spielberg like reign king.
Oh yeah.
You know, like much like The Mist has always been in the DNA
of
every season of this show.
Oh yeah,
and this season's no different. You know,
nope.
Not to mention Firestarter and Carrie, though this season probably leans way more into the Carrie than the Firestarter. First season was very much Firestarter. And then they kind of went X-Men with it in the second season.
Which, I mean, that's not a hard turn.
Exactly.
You know?
By the time you get to this season, they're now doing Carrie.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yep. Oh man, the whole arc with 11 is just. Oh man.
Like I think this is the best season since season 2 for an 11 arc.
Oh yeah. Millie Bobby Brown is like fucking amazing.
You know, this season definitely develops 11 more so than the last season did. Like, and I think the season that developed her just as much as this season was season 2.
Season 2, yeah.
Which is the one where she got her own little adventure on her own and got to meet her own X-Men pals.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, I like the way that the cast is actually split up between the 4 plot lines.
Me too.
It's really clever.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I also like that certain characters have been given larger roles.
Yeah.
I really like that the conspiracy guy.
Yeah.
He's been given a much larger role at this point in the show.
The conspiracy reporter. He's basically a main character in this season.
He is fantastic, and I always love him. I also like some of the new characters. Eddie is great.
Eddie is awesome.
I also love Argyle.
Argyle is... Look, it's an 80s movie. We need a Tommy Chong.
Oh, yeah. He was the moment where I realized we were doing Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Exactly.
Because, like, he's totally, what's his name?
Sean Penn.
Yeah.
Spicoli.
Yeah, he's totally Spicoli.
Oh my god! They run. Oh god, when he runs into that character who's very obviously an homage to a late '80s Winona Ryder character.
Oh yeah, yep, like walking straight off of Beetlejuice.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my god.
And it's like love at first sight. Oh man. Oh, we got to talk to the but get to the move on to the spoilers.
Move on to the spoilers.
So yeah, I love this season. If you like Stranger Things already, then you don't need to be convinced. Just watch it. It is Stranger Things firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people that only like the first season of Stranger Things, then this probably won't convince you otherwise. Like, whatever. If you're one of those people that like parts of the other seasons, but not all of them, you might like this season more because this season just feels like it's
all of it. Yeah.
It's all of it. You know, so give it a shot.
So much so that I'm like, what am I going to do for a 5th one?
I don't know. I guess we'll have the final Mind Flayer confrontation.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Actually, my theory, we'll talk about spoilers in a minute. My theory is Upside Down and Real World collide.
Yeah.
That's my theory for the final season, is that now there is no barrier.
Yeah, it's just happening.
You know, but we'll see.
And the whole town of Hawkins is like now in the Upside Down.
Yeah. And then we'll do Mad Max. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah, it's available on Netflix. That's where you watch it. There's no other place to watch Stranger Things. Just watch it on Netflix and enjoy. And with that said, spoilers! So this season, like we said, goes far deeper into Eleven's backstory. We get to see more of what happened during the outbreak, when she is not the outbreak, but her breakout, when she escaped the facility. And the big spoiler that is here is that we basically learn who Lord Vecna is through her flashbacks.
Yeah.
Because it turns out Lord Vecna was a human. Is not just a monster from the Upside Down. Lord Vecna was once a living, breathing person by the name of One. He was literally
number one.
The first wasn't created by Dr. Brenner. He was actually the basis for all the experiments.
Yeah, he's the one whose DNA was taken from to make the others.
Yeah, all of Dr. Brenner's experiments are trying to recreate a more docile version of him, one that would be more applicable to, say, government orders, you know? One that will be more willing to domesticated. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah,
you know,
something like that.
Because he's evil.
Yeah,
you know.
No, he's super evil.
He's Magneto.
He's beyond Magneto.
I know.
Like, he's not like Magneto is like you could see a world in which Magneto is heroic.
Yeah.
You cannot see a place where this guy is heroic. This guy is fucking evil piece of shit.
Yeah, but he has that same motivation of like, humanity is fucked. We should reign over them as the superior beings. You know, he has a little bit of that going on, and he has that Darth Vader moment of take my hand.
Take my hand.
you know, like,
oh, jeez.
And I gotta say, that speech he gives is probably about 20 minutes long, like no joke. Like,
oh god,
the last episode of this season of the volume is the longest episode of the season. Or the longest episode of the volume. And I think at least 20 minutes of it is just his speech. But the actor is so fucking compelling.
Yeah.
You don't feel it.
Nope.
You know, like,
nope. It's really good that way.
You know, like, you're just like, oh shit. God damn it. This is probably the best villain this show has had. And that's including Dr. Brenner.
Yeah. Who is also a major character.
Oh yeah. The return of Dr. Brenner finally comes back.
Such a piece of shit.
It's that moment where the hero needs to team up with the former antagonist.
Former bad guy.
In order to stop the new antagonist, but you know that the old antagonist still has nefarious intentions.
Yeah. He's still evil. You know,
so you can't fully trust him, but you need his help.
Yeah. Dr. Brenner is kind of like the epitome of lawful evil.
Yep.
You know,
and so basically, 11 needs his help to regain her powers. Because at the end of last season, she lost her powers. For those of you who remember the end of last season, she lost her powers, and she still doesn't have it in this season.
Yeah.
And this has become really difficult for her because she's now attending high school, and she's not popular.
Yeah, she's getting bullied pretty bad.
She's weird. The other kids all already see her as the outsider because she's the girl from not California.
Yeah.
And so she gets the Carrie treatment, like just straight up. Like you could tell they're this close to tell her to plug it up, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like,
yeah. It's like, do we want to be? Nah.
Oh my God, that fucking roller rink sequence where they fucking like cover her in milkshakes.
Yeah.
Oh God. That sequence was one of those like, okay, just kill them.
Oh yeah.
Just scanner their heads.
Yeah. You know, just it's okay.
11 did nothing wrong.
Well, like the whole thing that gets them in such fucking trouble is when she fucking hits that girl with the roller skate.
Yeah.
You know, and
what I love about that scene is that scene kind of highlights how scary and dangerous 11 is, because what if she did have her powers then?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she actually had her psychic abilities.
If she had her powers in that moment, there'd be blood splattered on the wall.
Yeah. They'd just been done.
You know, like...
Yeah, there'd been no life. Because she had to use a conventional means.
You know, because that's the other thing this season goes into, is that 11 actually is, on some level, dangerous. You know, especially as a hormonal teenager.
Yeah.
You know, who's trying to find balance in her life. But until she finds that balance... what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's very much a like kind of meditation on the difference between dangerous and monstrous.
Yep, absolutely.
It's like, of course 11's dangerous. She has like fucking immense psychic powers.
And this season does a really great job of setting that up for you, because the way the season opens is by showing us her escape, and the way it is presented is it looks like 11 just killed all the other
psychic kids.
The other psychic kids and guards and everything, and it's just covered in blood, and they're all like massacred. And so you see that flashback and you go like, oh shit, she actually is really fucking scary.
Yeah. Like she does a complete like Akira in this.
Which means you spend a huge chunk of the season waiting for her to like carry out and kill someone, like.
Yep.
Until the Lord Vecna threat starts to hit close to home to her, and she actually has to step in and help, but she can't because she has no powers. So enter Dr. Brenner, as well as I forget the other doctor's name. From season 2 and 3.
He was the guy who was the head of the original head of Hawkins Research Lab.
Yeah,
I forget his name too.
The guy that was introduced in season 2, I think.
Yeah. Well, he was actually in he's at the end of season 1, but he's like the guy who replaced the dude who got killed at the end.
Gotcha.
Season 1.
Gotcha. But like they offer to try to help her regain her powers by essentially putting her in a deprivation tank and feeding her memories into her so that she can revisit her past. This has led to some confusion, actually, because in the past, because it's the current version of her, but she's now walking through her memories, people have mentioned that it's like kind of a plot hole that she's holding like full sentences, whereas she couldn't really talk in the previous thing. But I kind of took that as the weird fuckery of having to walk through your own memories.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Because it's not the exact memory. It's like
right. You're observing your own memory from slightly outside of yourself.
And so like even when she's talking with number 1, I kind of assumed that the conversation wasn't as coherent in reality as it is in this little dream sequence, because she's essentially avataring her own self.
Yeah, well, I thought they made that pretty clear by the fact that they keep going from like 14-year-old 11 to 7-year-old 11.
And we never see 7-year-old 11 talk.
No. I don't remember that.
And I was actually surprised. I thought they were CGIing a younger version of 11, but it was actually an actress. They had a kid.
They actually had a kid who just looked a lot like her. Oh,
and Millie Bobby Brown actually directed that kid the whole time to play like 11. So,
that's cool.
Fucking adorable. Fucking great.
That is cool.
So that's the 11 plot, which is, I don't know if you'd call that a plot or B plot, but it's one of the main plots.
Oh, given that there are 4 happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
I don't know which, we got A, B, C, and D plot.
The other plot the other major plot that's going on is that you have, back at Hawkins, you have all the murders that are starting to happen through Lord Vecna, all the people that are showing up dead. And it's very Nightmare on Elm Street. Even the first person who's killed by Lord Vecna, they're thrown up onto the ceiling. And then their whole body is fucking like snapped into pieces, like they're folded.
God.
It's so gnarly.
It's gnarly as
hell. I like that this season obviously went with the whole like, okay, obviously last season we were going even more horrific than the previous seasons, but because the kids are getting older and older, we're going to get more and more gruesome.
Yes.
It's going to get more and more adult horror.
Yeah, because in the first one, it's like, it's a monster.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the Demogorgon, it's a creature. And while we see the creature do horrific things to other people, like, it doesn't like try to eviscerate the children.
The closest we got is Barb's death.
Yeah.
Barb's death is one of the most gruesome moments of the first season. And there are other gruesome moments in other seasons, but this season, every episode there was a gruesome moment.
Oh my God, yeah.
Every single episode.
It's one of those like, it's okay if they're like, all right, yeah. We're over PG-13 at this point.
Yeah.
We're just flat out in rated R territory.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like we're going into the slashers, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the late 80s now, so just let it fly.
So we basically have the crew that's still in Hawkins that didn't move to California are trying to figure out who Lord Vecna is, why they're doing this, what's their connection to the Upside Down.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure it out on their end. And basically what they kind of discover is that there was a family that went through this very same type of murder in like the 1950s.
Yeah.
Like decades ago. And they end up tracking down the one survivor from that who's in a mental institution.
Who's played by Robert Englund.
And just in case you didn't catch that they were doing Nightmare on Elm Street. And you're trying to figure out for most of the season what that plot has to do with the 11 plot.
Yeah, because it clearly does.
Or if they're separate plots entirely, but like you feel like there's a connective tissue. And the connective tissue is they're basically discovering Lord Vecna's childhood. That the first murders were when he was a kid before he was taken to the facility.
Yeah.
And experimented on. He basically killed his whole family. You know?
Yep. And you find out that what creates him is the very beginning of season 1 of Stranger Things, because the hole into the Upside Down world is where 11 chucked him into the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. They basically had a psychic battle that led to her banishing him into this other realm, and that was the Upside Down, and that's what turned him into Lord Vecna.
Yeah, and then the hole was just still there because very soon after she escapes.
Yep. And further, the other part of the major part of this particular team's plot, there are many subplots, but the main one is that Max starts to show signs of that all the people that were victims of Lord Vecna had before they died.
Yeah, they all die within like 6 days.
So like we spend a couple episodes of her trying to figure out how to avoid death. It's like Final Destination.
Yeah.
You know, it's like her trying to figure out a way and eventually like just kind of accepting it.
Yeah, because there's apparently no way out.
You know, and this what leads to the great Kate Bush moment where the kids kind of figure out through the backstory that Robert Englund told them that he was able to survive because he was pulled out by his favorite song.
Yeah.
And so they realize that maybe music, maybe blasting like her favorite song can pull her out of Lord Vecna's clutches.
Yeah, and she's a big Kate Bush fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they play Running Up the Hill, which obviously this scene has nothing to do with the actual meaning of that song. It's just her favorite song.
Yeah.
But I will say this, some of the lyrics when recontextualized do kind of like if I could speak with God, I would switch places with you.
Yeah.
In the context of the show, recontextualize, it's talking about her and her brother Billy.
Exactly.
Because Lord Vecna,
she feels guilty over the fact that he died.
Yeah, Lord Vecna attacks her while she's visiting Billy's grave.
Yeah.
You know, and she's been grieving over this all season.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Vecna uses. He uses grieving and guilt.
Yep.
In order to bring you close enough to his psychic level that he can take you over.
And naturally, and this is what leads me to my theory of what the next season's going to be, Lord Vecna is basically using this and their grief to psychically link with them on a deep level and pull them through the realm so that he can create portals.
Yeah.
Essentially the same way.
The same way that fucking he and 11 did.
Yeah, except he's doing it from the other side. He's pulling them in.
Yeah, and but here's the thing. We don't know why.
Mm-hmm. The characters assume that he is the Mind Flayer's like general.
Yeah.
But we don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it's just what the kids are assuming.
You know. Like they've been wrong before with assumptions.
Yeah. But like, how to put it, it's if you put it in Lovecraft terms, like the Mind Flayers like Yog-Sothoth, or Astaroth, or Hastur. Vecna's like the King in Yellow.
Yeah.
You know, like he's a little more personal.
Yeah,
you know,
I could totally see that. And for the record, this whole part of the plot is also where you get the most Nightmare on Elm Street vibes, because the moment you have the character of Nancy interacting with Lord Vecna, and Lord Vecna is got that deep gravelly voice going, Nancy. It just sounds like Nightmare on Elm Street full on.
Well, it doesn't help that like there's a sequence with 11 in a boiler room.
Yeah, the other plot we got going on is, of course, Winona Ryder and the fucking conspiracy dude trying to get Hopper back from the
Russians. We haven't really talked about that plot. Oh my god.
It's probably the plot that, weirdly enough, even though it has some of the darkest moments with what Hopper has to go through, it has some of the funniest moments.
Oh yeah, when it's mainly fucking oh god, what's her name? Winona Ryder's character.
I'm now spacing out on
fuck it. Not Jane. That's fuck. Anyway,
Jane is 11.
Jane is 11. Yeah. Yeah, it's Winona Ryder and fucking conspiracy dude. Holy crap. That whole thing is just hilarity because it's two normal, relatively normal people trying to navigate the world of like Russian spies.
Yeah. Russian smugglers and spies.
Yeah, it just
that plot is the thing is that plot is simultaneously the funniest and the darkest.
Oh yeah,
because like Hopper's life in that gulag is fucking miserable.
Oh god,
and he has multiple attempts to escape that all fail one after another.
Oh yeah.
Like every episode is, I'm going to try this thing and it fails. I'm going to try this thing and it fails. And it's one episode after another of him failing, and failing.
Yeah. He has, and like by the time like they actually hook up with him, he has basically given up.
Yeah. And the thing is that the fact that he fails every episode up to that point makes the moment when he and Winona Ryder hug
you're
so emotionally resonant.
Yeah, it's like finally.
It's like he finally made it. It's like the little engine that could. Like finally.
Yeah. Well, I also love the fact that he actually that they have Hopper actually spell out the situation for you. It's like, I thought they needed me, but no, I needed them, and that's when Winona Ryder shows up.
Absolutely. So that plot's very simple. He's trapped in the fucking gulag. He's trying to escape. He keeps having schemes where he like teams up with a guard to try to find a way to escape, and they keep failing, and he keeps getting thrown back in the gulag.
Yeah, it's kind of Commando in reverse.
Yeah. It's like the Great Escape if he never actually escaped.
Yeah.
And then you have Winona Ryder, who is basically trying to figure out if Hopper's trying to communicate with her through these weird notes that she gets, and contacting the conspiracy guy and her teaming up, and them trying to go to Russia to get him back.
Yeah.
And ultimately succeeding in freeing him, but also freeing the Demogorgon that the Russians have captured and have been using for sport, basically.
They're clearly want to do something with it, but they haven't figured it out.
I think they want to use it as a weapon, but they haven't quite figured out how to control it, is the main thing.
Exactly.
But in the meantime, they've been feeding it prisoners, and so...
Yep, and then and just to make it extra, they fucking make the prisoners fight the Demogorgon.
Yep.
And oh my god. Okay, so like in the first season of Stranger Things, like you mostly only see the Demogorgon from the chest up.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have legs.
Yeah.
Cost-cutting measure. But in this one, they move between the guy in the costume and full CG.
Oh god, yeah.
And
the way that thing kills is fucking brutal.
Jeez.
Like you realize if the Demogorgon actually if the Demogorgon was just let loose, humanity be fucked,
Oh yeah. No, it's just like, no, does it want to kill you? Okay, you're dead now.
Yep.
Like it might.
That was an intense fucking sequence of him trying to fight the fucking Demogorgon and try to light the fucking torch, but the lighter
won't work
because they're in fucking Russia in the snow.
Everything's wet. Everything sucks. Oh Jesus! But like, it was definitely one of those like. I forgot how I got so used to just the Demogorgon as a concept. I forgot how fucking dangerous it was supposed to be.
The one thing I will say is that unlike the last season or the last 3 seasons for that matter, Hopper gets way less of like a story compared to what he went through in the last 3 seasons, but I thought that was okay because it allowed them to expand other characters.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
That didn't get as much development in the previous seasons.
Yeah. With that said,
he still has a story.
That said, dude, actor plays Hopper.
Oh, David Harbour.
David Harbour, thank you. David Harbour still has tons to do.
Oh yeah.
But he is in an action movie role.
Well, yeah, like I said, he's like Steve McQueen. He's trying to escape.
Dun 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 dun.
It's like a really dark, Great Escape.
Yeah. Yeah, but like he does there's a lot of great acting from him, but like as far as character development, he's kind of already where we needed him to be at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really more about Winona Ryder and a conspiracy guy rescuing him.
Yep, and being proactive. Very important. Like them actually saving him for a change.
Exactly.
You know, which is really kind of cool. Then you have the fourth kind of plot that's going on, which is, okay, so they're apparently, in the last season, you had the Russians as like one of the secondary antagonists next to the Mind Flayer, right? In this season, you have two factions of the government that are apparently at war with one another. Mm-hmm. The American government. One of which, you know, obviously Dr. Brenner and the other doctor are one faction of that government. And then the other faction of the government is this one fucking brutal-ass general that is literally just bringing down military strength, and he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. His whole thing, it's like, no, just eliminate 11.
Yeah, just 11's a danger, and she's probably doing all this. There's probably no Lord Vecna. Kill 11.
Yeah.
So 11 escapes them really quickly, and the other characters that are stuck in California, Jonathan, Will, and goddammit, what's his name?
Mike.
Yeah. Jonathan, Will, and Mike have to deal with escaping the fucking general and the general's fucking soldiers.
Yes.
And finding a way to get to 11.
Yeah.
And that's their plot, is finding a way to try to do that.
Yeah, and their fucking plot line is totally like War Games crossed with Adventures of Babysitting.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit of Cloak and Dagger in there, too.
Yeah.
A little bit of Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, Cloak and Dagger, you know? That.
Speaking of obscure 80s
films, yeah. Damn.
There's a little bit of Cloak and Dagger in there, as well as hackers.
Yep.
Because they have to find Dustin's girlfriend, the hacker from the previous season. If you remember the whole A Never-Ending Story sequence.
Yeah. That character comes back.
She comes back, and they have to go all the way to Salt Lake City to contact her, to get her help to find the location of 11's, where 11 is, by hacking the government systems.
Yep.
And that plot line is probably... The other plot lines are probably the most interesting plot lines, but that plot line manages to make up for being less interesting by being funny as hell. Like, it's just a fun plot line.
Yeah.
you know? Because all the moments with Argyle and, like, him meeting, like, what's-her-name's sister.
Yeah.
and them getting high in the fucking van.
Yeah.
Fucking great. And also them just trying to trick her dad so that they could use the computer to hack. It's just funny.
Yeah. Like, that's where the little kid adventure, really comes in.
That's the part that feels the most like a kid adventure. You know? Like, everyone back in Hawkins have graduated to doing, like, teen movie stuff.
Yeah.
Like these guys are still kind of in the, like, Goonies kind of thing.
Yeah. Still got to sneak by parents and shit.
You know, and the main emotional core of that is that Mike needs to get back to 11 because they had a fight right before they split, and he really needs to tell her that he loves her.
Yeah. And like, one of the things I thought was kind of neat is that Jonathan's the one's kind of leading that team.
Yeah, he's kind of in the position Steve was as the resident babysitter.
As the babysitter, yeah.
The thing about Jonathan is that him and Nancy's storyline is probably the least interesting of the season, but it's also like it's obvious the writers realize they don't know where to take that plot at this point.
Right.
So they're kind of putting an end to it. Like, Jonathan's whole plot in this is that he and Nancy have not only, like, drifted apart from each other, they're literally apart from each other.
Yeah.
Because one's in California with his family and the other one's in Hawkins. And they have emotionally drifted apart from each other in this time frame, and neither is willing to just flat out cut it off, but they probably should at this point.
Yeah.
Either put up or shut up at this point.
Yeah, because, like, they're keeping secrets from each other.
Yep.
Because they don't want it to end. Yep. But they are insurmountable obstacles.
And at the beginning of the season, they're really in denial about it. But by the end of the first volume, they both, I think, kind of realized that it's not working.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't had the conversation yet, it's coming.
Yeah, because, like, there's all that. Each one of them has, like, this kind of, like, angel on their shoulder. Jonathan has Argyle, and
Argyle's like, you got to be honest with her, man.
Yeah,
like, you got to cut this off. Don't be an asshole. You know?
Yeah, and Nancy has Robin,
who's like, hey, look, Steve over there. You guys used to date, right? Like, well, I mean, he's become a better person now.
Yeah,
like,
he's okay now.
He's not the person he used to be. He's actually he's a pretty good catch now. You know?
Yeah.
being fucking Steve's wingman.
Yeah, because she's like, God damn it, Steve. Like, look. Clearly, you're holding the torch for Nancy. Every girl you date looks like her.
Speaking of Steve, probably my favorite joke of the season. It's a very understated joke, but it's a joke that got me big. Is the joke in which there's a point in which they realize that there is a portal to the Upside Down in a lake.
Yeah.
And they're all trapped in the lake, and Steve's going to go down into the lake to see if the portal's under there. And so Steve's taking off his shirt.
Yeah.
And the fucking boys that are watching in binoculars are like, oh, he's taking off his shirt or whatever.
He's so hairy.
And then like who likes that? Like, what do you think girls are gonna like that? And then Max is just like, hey, let me see. Grabs the binoculars and just stares.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh man, she gave no fuck. She's just like, yes.
Well, that's after like she fucking like came back from the dead.
Yeah.
She's like, fuck this. Just getting an eyeful. Yeah.
And that was probably one of my favorite jokes in the fucking season so far.
Oh man. Yeah, just the way everyone got their little moments.
Absolutely.
You know, like
everyone
I love the fact that Dustin's whole thing is, I was right the whole time. Why don't you just listen to me?
Oh shit, we haven't even brought up Max's boyfriend and his whole plot line, which is tied in with the Hawkins crew, where he has started to drift away from his friends because he has joined the basketball team and has become a jock, and his old friends aren't cool, and he wants to be part of the cool crowd. He doesn't want to be bullied anymore. And how that plot line leads to him following around the fucking like jocks as they radicalize themselves and convince themselves that Eddie murdered the first victim of Lord Vecna, and that it's D&D's fault.
Yeah.
And that the devil has gotten a hold of the children, so they start fucking hunting down the Hawkins crew. And he's the fucking friends of the Hawkins crew who's stuck with these fucking like this fucking lynch mob they've formed.
Yeah, and due to events that he didn't know about, now his little sister's also involved.
Yeah.
And he's like,
And so like you have his conflict where now not only now he's not telling them because he's just worried he's in danger now, you know, like, but he's got to like stop them from hurting his friends, and like that's a pretty cool, like, it's a very understated plot, but it's a plot that's I think underrated. I like that plot.
Yeah,
you know? Especially since it's the plot that ties into the satanic panic motif of the season.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised. I mean, granted, they have enough going on.
Yeah,
but I was kind of surprised that like his little sister didn't become part of the core group.
I mean, she's kind of drifting that way.
Yeah, she's definitely drifting that way.
Yeah, like she had that moment where she was his stand-in for the fucking
D&D game.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I will say this: there is one thing so far, and it's not really a complaint so much as I hope the next 2 episodes brings it back, and that is, I was kind of sad that Robin's crush was kind of like dropped after a while. Like it's like I'm assuming what they're gonna do is that in the next 2 episodes, either after everything's done or whatever, she's either finally gonna build up the courage to ask her out, or the girl's gonna come up and ask her out, or something like that.
Right. Something's gonna resolve one way.
But I was kind of hoping that was gonna be more of like a seasonal plot line and not just something brought up at the beginning. And
yeah, I can sort of see why they wouldn't do that, because there's so much going on,
you know,
and a romance plot, even given the twist that's between 2 girls, isn't necessarily,
especially since you got 4 other romance plots.
Exactly. It's not necessarily as cool as 11 watching 11 open up the Upside Down or something like that.
My only thing is I hope in the next 2 episodes that they remember it. You know,
me too.
That it's brought back, even if it's brought back just in the can I sit down? Do you want to like?
Yeah. Oh man, the one thing I did like is the fact that the entire time, Robin is constantly like struggling, not because she doesn't know what to do, but in her own words, look, you hit on someone, you're wrong, you might get embarrassed.
Yep.
I hit on someone, I get it wrong, I've got a real problem.
Yeah. She's going through an actual queer issue.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, she's not just facing rejection. It's the fucking 80s. She's facing social ostracization.
Yeah.
If she asks out the wrong person.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be another like 20, 30 years before like that starts to chill out.
Exactly. So it's like, it's a fucking huge risk for her.
Yeah.
So it's a bigger risk than any other like, should I ask her out plot I've ever seen. You know?
Yeah. Or safety's on the line.
Exactly.
You know, and
watching how quickly that fucking town formed a lynch mob.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Over fucking D&D and Satan. Like, that's just what they need. Like, fucking D&D turned her queer. Like,
like, oh god, you know, like
the devil's in her. Jesus Christ. Robin continues to be one of my favorite characters. She was one of my favorite additions from last season.
Oh yeah.
And I love Robin. She's great. Another character who obviously has ADHD.
Yes. Yes. Oh, man.
I do love the portion when the 4 older teenagers, minus Jonathan, because Jonathan's in California.
He's in California, yeah.
The 4 older teenagers that are in Hawkins all end up in the Upside Down together.
Yes.
And they're kind of
they're like a D&D group.
Yeah, they're like in a D&D adventure party, and you have like the warrior and you have the bard.
And the warrior, the bard, the cleric, and the rogue.
Yeah. That sequence was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially since they had the awesome moment where Steve fucking beat that bat thing with itself.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. If you're a fan of D&D, Sturges. The Upside Down has Sturges. I couldn't believe it. We were watching it, and the Countess was like, oh my god, it's a Sturge. And I'm like, what? Oh shit, it is.
I might be remembering wrong, but I'm pretty sure one of the previous seasons showed the flying things when it showed the Mind Flayer and the Upside Down.
Yeah, but we didn't get like a good look at it.
Yeah. I think this is the first time we actually got to see them actually like attacking someone.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's like, no, they're totally Sturges. They just flock and like drain blood out of people.
Yep.
You know,
they fucking take chunks out of poor Steve.
Oh, dude, Steve.
Man, that's the second. Oh man, it's like the second time of the season where a major character you thought was not going to make it for a moment.
Yeah, you know? I thought Steve was toast.
I like say like Max, like, oh shit, Max ain't going to make it, and then Steve, no, Steve's not going to make it.
Oh man, no, that the whole thing in the Upside, and they actually go into the Upside Down how it works.
Yeah,
you know, clearly that was one of the goals of the season was to explain certain things about the Upside Down, not the least of which it is apparently a single moment frozen in time.
Yeah, which I'm curious how they're going to explore that a little bit, like why that is.
Yeah,
was it literally created by 11, or was it opened up by 11?
Yeah,
that's the question.
Yeah,
right?
Because it's stuck. Time does not change in Hawkins from the moment that it was first opened.
Yep.
You know, it's always that time.
Yep.
And, you know, despite the fact that things obviously move around and shit.
Oh, yeah. There are creatures that live in it, so.
Yeah, so you're like, what is going on?
Is it like, did she open up another dimension, or did she create one? Or is there something about this dimension that just mirrors that moment in time? Like, what's going on? And I'm curious to find out, you know?
Yeah.
Hell, I'm fine if some of those questions aren't entirely answered by the end of this season, because we have another season going on.
Yeah, because the plot line, the kids' plot line is they're like, we should probably get some guns.
Yeah.
You know, which is a perfectly logical conclusion.
And after the first few seasons, Nancy's supposed to carry around a gun now, but they go to her place and their guns aren't there because she didn't get them yet.
Yeah. And she's like, oh shit. Like, but here's my old diary.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
after this date.
And it's basically, what's the last entry? Me and Barb are going to go to this party. Oh God, that's like the last entry.
Oh my God, they bring back the death of Barb, and man, my heart broke. Oh
jeez, yeah.
As part of Nancy's guilt when he's starting to go after Nancy. Damn.
Oh man, like that's the moment where you just sort of like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Oh crap, that's right. Because by this point you know that basically it's extreme guilt and grief that allows Vecna to get you.
Yep.
And as soon as it looks like Nancy has escaped, all of a sudden the scene turns.
Yep.
And you're like, what the fuck just happened? Oh shit, there's Barb. Oh no.
Because it happens right when they're trying to escape the Upside Down, where they have this cool sequence where they put a rope between the portal, and on one end it's hanging down, on the other hand it's hanging down. And it's caught in between. It's a cool fucking visual.
Yeah, but the moment where you realize that Nancy's stuck in the Upside Down is like, that's where that plot ends at the moment.
Yeah.
And then
she gets part of the history of Lord Vecna through traveling through Lord Vecna's mindscape, because they figure out that you can enter Lord Vecna's mind.
When he connects with your mind, you're also connected to him.
And you're in his version of the Upside Down, his version of the mindscape, when you've entered the red building.
Yeah.
It's like a red fucking mindscape, but then there's also this building that's like all torn apart inside of it.
Yeah.
It looks like a heavy metal cover. It does. Man, I love this show. I love this season, and this thing is just 100% my shit.
It's holy crap. Like I was like, man, this is going to be the one that sucks, right?
I mean, if there was going to be one, this one, right?
Yeah. And I was like, nah, I'll go watch it anyway, because I really want it to be good. I really want it to be good.
Yeah.
I had no indication that it was going to be bad. It's just like every time it's a new season, I think it's a roll of the dice.
It's the fear.
Especially
after the pandemic and the production issues because of the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah. Yes. And
the kids were going to have to look a year older than they were supposed to.
Yeah. And all kinds of things could have gone wrong. Yep. But I gotta say, so far they've been rolling natural 20s, man. This is one after the other.
Absolutely. There's a point where they actually roll.
There's an actual moment where they roll.
Oh man, do you want to do your little rant about D&D there?
Holy shit! Okay, all right. Let me tell you this right now. So at some point, dude's sister fucking comes in. She's like, "I'm a 14th level rogue," and I'm like, "You cannot be a 14th level rogue because AD&D don't have that."
It has a thief, right?
It has the thief.
Yeah.
Because rogue doesn't become a character class till 3rd edition. I know, because I remember that shit. Because I played all that crap.
This is like that when I think it was either season 1 or season 2 where they had that Death Star model that didn't exist yet.
Oh, that was the Millennium Falcon. That's the late 90s Millennium Falcon, because the early 80s Millennium Falcon looked way cheaper, because I had
Zero stars.
I had that shit.
Inaccurate.
And in the third one, it's 1985, and fucking somehow Dustin has an Ultra Magnus action figure that doesn't exist doesn't hit the market for another 8 fucking months. 0 stars.
Every season has one inaccuracy that sets Jack off, and this season it was the D&D.
It was the D&D one. I was like, there ain't no rogue character class in fucking AD&D. Like this. That'll happen until 3rd edition. Like 2nd edition doesn't even exist in this world yet. Son of a bitch.
It's all right, man. I feel you.
Yeah. Although, like, if it had been like, 2nd edition. Ugh. Sorry, just flashbacks. It's like, man, that was confusing.
Yeah.
Like, if you thought first AD&D was confusing, AD&D 2nd edition was like twice as confusing.
True.
Because what they decided to do is they were like, well, now you add and subtract things. And you're like, no, I already have to look at a chart. I don't want to have to look at a chart and do math. This is going to take forever.
I will say this, though. I think anyone that was worried about the Winona Ryder vortex, where Winona
Ryder Event Horizon?
Yeah, the Winona Ryder Event Horizon, where the Stranger Things reaches the time when Winona Ryder is a big star. I want to point out that this season had Robert Englund in it, and Nightmare on Elm Street's already out in this universe.
Yeah. Fucking like it's 1986, so it's like Nightmare 2's that just came out.
Yeah. So I don't know why that Event Horizon only exists for Winona Ryder.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know either. Like, 3 was what? Dream Warriors was 87, right?
It's something like that.
It's like 80. Yeah. I can't. I'd have to look it up.
I know the first one was 84.
84.
I'm pretty sure.
84, 85. Oh, yeah. So actually, they made them very quickly after each other.
I think they were each like a year after each other.
Yeah. So 84, 85. Yeah. Dream Warriors is about, has just come out or is about to come out.
I didn't think of it, but Dream Warriors, there's a little bit of that.
There is a lot of Dream Warriors
in this season. Yeah. So anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, as you fucking watch Stranger Things, it is one of the best shows going right now, and it has not dipped in quality one bit as far as I'm concerned.
No, it actually went up this season, in my opinion.
And with that said, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Counting Jack, where I tweet a lot, and I also tweet out whenever I am streaming. And I stream every Thursday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But we're going to be doing an experiment, adding additional days where I am going to split between streaming on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want all that information, follow me at Counting Jack on Twitter or Satanic Jackula on Instagram. And we'll see you there. If you want to ask me any questions in the chat, I will answer them. Bear in mind, I ramble a lot. There you go.
Y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. So look up the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram and Facebook. Look up the Horror Guru or Bloodsplattered Cinema, and I'll be there. I completely spaced out on what I normally say, so hopefully that was somewhat like it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of our videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. And if you made it this far into the vlogs, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below with hashtag Justice for Eddie. Eddie did nothing wrong. Hashtag Justice for Eddie or hashtag Eddie did nothing wrong. Either one's fine. Comment below with those hashtags, and that way I know, that way Jack knows, that way the whole world knows you watch this vlog all the way through. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, we've been talking for over an hour, and I want to have some dinner. So we're going to go eat some dinner.
So until then, keep playing D&D and worshiping Satan.
Hell yeah. Peace out.